Welcome, everyone. This is Minister Keisha L. Peterson. I welcome you to Absolute Word Ministries When a Woman Prays. We are discussing the 10 traits of a praying woman. On tonight, we are discussing trait number 2 of a praying woman. That trait is she is humble. In 1 Peter 5 and 6, it says, humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Recognizing her dependence on God, she approaches him with a humble heart, acknowledging his sovereignty and seeking out his will above her own. Tonight, we're going to talk about a virtue that is often overlooked, but yet holds immense power. That is the virtue of humility. In a world that often celebrates self promotion, pride, and personal achievements, embracing humility is a countercultural act that sets us on a path towards divine wisdom and blessing. So let's talk about the significance of humility. As inspired by the verse found in 1 Peter 5 and 6, once again, it tells us to humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Humility is not a sign of weakness or inferiority. Rather, it is a recognition of our dependence on God and a surrender to his sovereignty. It is an acknowledgement that, as human beings, our understanding is limited and that we need divine guidance and intervention in our lives. Our journey towards humility begins by recognizing the inherent greatness of God and the vastness of his wisdom and power. In the example before us, we see a person who approaches God with a humble heart, recognizing her own limitations. She sets aside her ego, her pride, and her personal desires to seek God's will above all else. Now, this act of humility invites God into her life, opening the doors of his divine intervention and guidance. Imagine for a moment the freedom that comes with humility. By surrendering our own will and embracing God's will, we release the burden of trying to control every aspect of our lives. We allow the Almighty to take the lead, trusting that his plans are perfect and his ways are higher than ours. In this humble surrender, we find peace, contentment, and a deep sense of purpose. Humility is not a one time act, but it is a lifelong journey. It requires constant self reflection, introspection, and a willingness to put others before ourselves. It means treating others with kindness, compassion, and respect, regardless of their social status or accomplishments. Humility invites us to be attentive listeners, eager to learn from others, and acknowledge their contribution. As we embrace humility, we position ourselves to experience God's faithfulness and exaltation. The promise that we find in 1 Peter 5 and 6 assures us that when we humble ourselves under God's mighty hand, that he will lift us up in due time. This exaltation is not about personal glory or worldly success. It is about being lifted up in God's grace, love, and favor. It is about being aligned with his divine purpose and experiencing his blessings. So, what does embracing humility look like in our daily lives? It starts with a heart that recognizes God's sovereignty and seeks His will above all else. It means cultivating an attitude of gratitude, acknowledging that every good thing that we have comes from God. Humility invites us to celebrate the achievements of others, to encourage and to support them in their journey. It empowers us to forgive, to let go of grudges, and to extend grace to those who may have wronged us. Tonight, I invite each and every one of you to reflect on your own hearts. Are you willing to embrace humility and submit yourself to God's authority? Are you ready to surrender your own plans and desires, trusting in God's perfect wisdom? I want you to take a moment to examine your motives and intentions. Are your motives and intentions rooted in pride, or are they genuine desires to serve and honor God? Let us take this action seriously. Embracing humility is not an easy task, but the rewards are immeasurable. As we humble ourselves before God, we position ourselves to receive all of His blessings, to experience His faithfulness, and to be transformed by His grace. May each of us strive to be humble, knowing that in due time, God will lift us up and lead us on a path of divine purpose and fulfillment. So let us remember the words of 1 Peter 5 and 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time. May humility be our guiding principle, our source of strength, and our pathway to divine wisdom. Let us embark on His journey together, supporting and encouraging one another as we seek to live lives that reflect the beauty and power of true humility. And until we meet again, I want each and every one of you to have a blessed week.